It's nice to be back in the world of survival with what I think should be a pretty good weapon. I'll be honest, it's actually been quite a while since I've happened to use the heavy crossbow, despite the fact that I know a lot of people have made this their go-to weapon as of late. And I guess that just means I'll have to have high hopes for it. So the basics are very long startup time, very short range, but very heavy damage as the name would suggest. It also has the added effect of having something of a gravity well, I suppose you could call it, where it will pull enemies towards you to make sure that you're going to nail their face with every single one of your crossbow bolts for maximum damage. I don't know how well that works with elites or bosses. I think it's a little bit, but it's mostly going to be used against regular enemies. And I mean, overall, the heavy crossbow is the model of a survival-based weapon. It is high risk, high reward, high chance of you getting hit before you can actually hit enemies. I guess that's why the whole... Yep, and there you go. I guess that's why the whole cannot be interrupted by enemy attack affix exists in the game, after all. And I'll probably be getting a lot of usage out of that over the course of this. Yeah, there's no real strategy when it comes to using this. No critical, no, like, good setup for hitting enemies. It's just going to be make sure that I'm giving enemies a lot of distance to attack me first and then retaliating, or make sure that I am attacking them well before they're even going to start to try to hit me. Because you can roll cancel out of a lot of survival weapons. This, not really the same way. There is a lot of time after you finish firing the weapon that you're going to be... I mean, well, a lot of time. It's less than a second, but it sure feels like a lot of time when we're talking about dead cells. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough, and it's definitely going to be something to think about in the future when I'm choosing mutations. Which is to say that I'm going to take the same mutations that I always do, because I always focus on defensive mutations when it comes to 5-cell mode. I mean, really, aside from that, get your poison synergy, get your bleed synergy, fire synergy, whatever you can do to get a lot of extra damage out of this thing. It's really just a free reign, your standard sort of survival type of run, and I'm totally fine with that, because... well, I guess the one thing that it's not going to work very well with is ice synergy, because, what is that, 5 crossbow bolts means that the first one is going to get that 175% extra damage if I get that affix, but every other one of them is just going to get slowed down at best. Unless, I guess, I happen to get the enemies take longer to thaw, but even that, it's unlikely that it's going to last for even one extra crossbow bolt. Ah, well, not that big of a deal, because there are plenty of other things that I can hope for when it comes to getting synergies in this run. Overall, though, the other thing to talk about this weapon is that it is ranged. Even though it is more of a short-ranged weapon, the range is going to be something of a problem over the course of the run, because, well, you know, you get all the disadvantages of ranged weapons, for example, ammo management, but you also have to be at a close range to be able to use it. I mean, it doesn't have to be a very close range. You do have that whole gravity well thing, but it's frustrating that I'm not going to be able to hit enemies across the map. And on top of that, I also don't get the benefits from using a melee weapon. For example, some of the good mutations that I could be grabbing, whether it's a lot of the brutality-based stuff or stuff like Heart of Ice, for example. It's kind of the worst of all worlds in some ways. But it should not be too bad as long as I have a shield or some sort of grenade that gives me arrows stuck in enemies come back, which I have on my ice grenade right now. No, the whole ammo management shouldn't be that big of a deal. It's just... yeah, there we go. It's just something to watch out for when I start to get to the point in the game when I'm not one-shotting everything that I'm going up against. I mean, I'll give you this. It is a very satisfying weapon to use. Is it going to be good? Like I said, high hopes, we'll see, because this could easily be one of those weapons that works, you know, that's aces on lower cell difficulty, kind of loses a little bit of its luster on higher cell because of just generally tougher enemies and more enemies to deal with. Sure, I might have piercing right now, but oh man, that bat. I do not like how close that bat got to me, but I did manage to get out of that okay. I mean, normally bats aren't that big of a deal, but when you're using a slow weapon, and also I think I saw that one had a knife, so Yeah, it's a cause for concern. Oh, Powerful Grenade does not have, Powerful Grenade does not have any sort of ice synergy on it, because that's probably the one place where I would get some good usage out of it. I mean, I am probably going to stick with using the Heavy Grenade for quite a while, just because it is instant cast type of stuff. Although I do have Shoot an Enemy Upwards. That is... It'll work in a pinch as kind of like a starting attack, as you can see, to make sure that can take out some of the squishier but faster enemies before they can happen to get a hit in on me. Yeah, it's you know, I was talking that it's like, hey, this does have a lot of disadvantages being a short range weapon, sharing that distinction with the infantry bow and everything, but that's really not that bad. When it comes to you know, an action RPG, I usually prefer to play in a very close range style. I think that's how you get the most out of the game. Because if you're trying to outrange everything at all points in time, you don't really get to experience a lot of attacks, you know, taking the coward's way out in some ways. So this is not the worst. Then you do get a little bit of range even in spite of that. I mean, also the other thing is that the time that range counts the most is the least important point in the game, when you're fighting a bunch of small fry enemies and not bosses. Bosses, on the other hand, are always going to be able to hit you either with their own ranged attacks for something like the Timekeeper or the Conjunctivius, or you know, their attacks are going to go across the entire arena anyway, basically meaning that there's little difference between a ranged attack and a regular attack. I'm looking at you, Hand of the King. The only real exception to that is the Concierge, and that dude's so much of a pushover already that it does not matter. No, I think range is totally fine for my general playstyle, and yeah, no, range is just fine for my general playstyle, and just the way that Dead Cells works. It's just, it works out well for how this game is. I shouldn't see too much difference with it by the time that I get to endgame, is what I'm saying. As long as it can keep one-shotting enemies, though, and as long as I have some sort of pierce on this, I'm sure it's probably at least going to go better, even damage-wise, compared to the last run I did with the Lightning Bolt. At least that's all I can hope. I mean, you know, I said action RPGs is generally what I like to play melee with. You know, when we're talking about like I want to say like Dead Souls, Dark Cells. No, Dark Souls, obviously this game, or even, you know, other very Souls-like games, whether it is stuff from FromSoft. That's a sentence. You know, you like your Bloodborns or Sekiros, or it's stuff that are very heavily inspired by that. Death's Gambit, for example, which should have some DLC coming out soon. I am looking forward to that, since I did really like that game. Do tend to, well, there goes my 40 kills. Do tend to like to play melee, but any other type of, you know, old school roguelike in that style, generally play more wizardy type classes. Go full on magic. Because, you know, when we're talking turn-based RPGs, melee does not really make that much of a difference. You're not really losing out too much mechanically when it comes to playing ranged there. And also you get so many more mechanics opened up to you. Whether it's, you know, various buffs like hasting yourself, silencing enemies, all that sort of stuff. Reducing line of sight was always one of my favorite things to do back in Dungeon Crawl. It's like you have so many more things opened up to you when it comes to playing as a wizard. And also, you know, like elemental type of stuff, which might not manifest itself if you decide to play like your classic type of warrior class. It's a real difference in play styles, but I think that, hey, if you're giving me more ability to manipulate the game, that's what I would prefer more than, you know, just going sword and board style in a game like that. I mean, really overall, just being able to manipulate stuff in games is something that I look for a lot. I mean, I'm thinking NetHack is my favorite game of all time explicitly because you can do so many things with like just about any object that exists in the game. So many things are all multi-use, can happen to fulfill a bunch of different purposes whether it's apparent or, you know, secret type of stuff that kind of shows up over time. It's really great, and it's one of the reasons why I've gotten really into playing like Undermine lately. Despite the fact that game doesn't really do much of anything special, it is very much like the mining of Isaac, as people have called it when I was streaming it. It has a lot more objects in the game that let you like really mess around with how, you know, RNG and everything like that works in it. Which is something that I really like about it, even though it does tend to make the game a little bit too easy. Noita is another example where that game is there are so many little minuscule mechanics that you can manipulate in every single part of it. Whether it is going full on, nah. I would much rather have the shield, let's be honest here. Yeah, whether it is, you know, the whole like every pixel is simulated, you know, part of the, oh boy, let's be extra cautious here. You know, part of the whole selling point of the game, or stuff like how the whole spell system works, where you can really become very granular with how you're making wands and come up with a bunch of different play styles just by mixing and matching how all the spells and how they work. Oh, that was very scary. I got out of it though. It's cool. Now, there was a good usage of the gravity well, by the way. That looked pretty neat. Anyway. Yeah, it's, there's a good reason why I called, like, Noita certainly the most roguelike feeling of any roguelite that I've ever played. It definitely has that, hey, you've got a bunch of stuff here. And that's something that I'll always look forward to in any game. If you can really let me mess around with things. If I can get really into the mechanics and really granular. Well, hey, look at what you're watching right now. The YouTube stuff. Started out with, what? Hey, I'm just going to turn on the camera and record myself, to, okay, let's start doing some editing, to, all right, now I'm going to practice the start of every single episode I do to make sure that it is exactly how I like it every single time. It's just a matter of time before it turns into, all right, get out of here, you. Just a matter of time before it turns into fully scripted episodes with infographics up on screen at all points in time and co-stars and stuff like that. You just watch. No, that's not going to happen. But it's like at this point in time, I'm even starting to brainstorm ideas like, hey, what are like topics that I want to bring up over the course of this, along with you know, practicing the start of stuff and everything. I don't know why I put so much time into this. I mean, all you gotta do is just play the game. Whatever. We'll see what the future brings. Let me tell you, I would not be opposed to having like some co-stars here. Have somebody else to kind of buff out the whole commentary thing. It's just, I don't know. I started this series by myself. I feel like that's probably what people want to see for the most part. And this is getting a little bit too inside base. Oh no, I thought I was shooting in a little bit too inside baseball. So let's just get back to me getting shot with this guy. Well, whatever. I've actually been very, very lucky as far as food has gone so far. So I'm extremely happy with that. I mean, that's been... I knew that I was going to be getting a hit a lot with this. I mean, you know, slow weapons, and especially weapons that have some pretty... I should have gone the other way around. Especially weapons that have some pretty hefty recovery frames. Okay. There we go. That's what I wanted. You gotta get that parry to make sure that I get all of those arrows out of that dude. Because otherwise, that could have turned a lot more tragic. Anyway, yeah. This also has like a pretty long recovery time where, you know, after I shoot, I can't roll away immediately. That's what I was talking about with the inability to dodge cancel some of the attacks here. At least more than a lot of the other... Sure? I don't know. Do I really like the shield right now? And I mean, the problem is that I'm going to lose out on some... I do like the freezing, but I'm going to lose out on some arrow recovery. That shouldn't matter too much, but I would need to get that... 2 times damage too, maybe. Oh, man, I'm just looking at this. I'll come back. I'll come back to this make another decision in a little bit of time. There's no need to rush, despite what it might look like every single time you've seen me play this game forever. Look, we're getting inside baseball. I also, you know, I probably play a little bit more recklessly when it comes to being on camera as opposed to by myself, just because, well, I want to keep things moving. All right, Rampart's so good too, even though it's a very early level version of it. I'm gonna get rid of it. Early level version does not actually matter when you're using the Rampart, because you want that invincibility. That's the real moneymaker there. Yeah, I'm just gonna... Ancient Sewers? No, I don't want to go up against Conjunctivius. A slow weapon is a bad idea. I was thinking I was gonna go to the Ramparts, but I guess that's not actually an option anymore. Huh. Well, I mean, it's a pretty big target if I'm going up against Mama Tick. I want to take a simpler route for today, if you'll forgive me, because I don't want to... This weapon is kind of hard to use. Like I said, it's the classic survival issue where you're gonna have some problems coming up using... Let's take gastronomy. I was talking about that in the last stream. You're gonna come up with some problems using it, especially if it's content that you're not super confident in your ability to handle. I mean, oh sure, I would be able to very trivially hit Mama Tick with every single one of these bolts every single time, and, you know, set up all of the great synergies and everything that I'm looking for. But, oh man, it's just... If my dodging game is not on point, it's going to turn out very bad for me. And I would prefer just to go up against the Concierge. You know who's also a big, huge target that's not going to be very difficult to nail with every single one of these bolts? The Concierge. They don't call the achievement for no hitting him the Fat and the Furious for nothing, after all. Speaking of which, this was actually... I mean, I guess it wasn't the first time that I ever beat the Concierge no hit, but the video that I first put out doing that was just kind of a dumb jokey thing where I took a 4 times damage heavy crossbow, and yeah, 1 hit. That's all it took at that point in time, because I didn't have stuff like a bunch of issues with you know, bosses being only able to take X amount of their health per hit. Back in the day, you could one-shot dudes, and one-shot them I did. I was all like little Catboy Nico around here, one-shotting guys. Or at least that's what I was trying to do. They took out the ability to do that pretty quickly, I'll be honest. It's unfortunate. And actually, that is another plus for this weapon, if you think about it. The multiple hits, if I get to a position where this can even happen, and that is a big if. Gotta have some real good statage and some real good synergies to even make it happen, where you know, a single volley of arrows will be able to overcome that damage cap. But if it does happen, the 5 arrows does mean that I will be able to do like 50% of an enemy's health, or of a boss's health in a single hit. Maybe. We'll see. I'm going to, as always, I mean, hey, Dead Cells is a game where you're going to try to make that happen. If it actually happens, we'll see. It's not a game where you can manipulate a lot, like I was talking about before. See, I can tie in some of these disparate topics together. What you get is what you get sometimes, and you do have the ability to manipulate it somewhat. You know, I'm talking... Are you... Come on. There. Nah. I'm talking, you know, re-rolling stuff with the Clandestine Forge guy, and, you know, re-rolling stuff with even... Maybe I will go for this. Nah, I don't need that. I'll save up for something out of a shop coming up here. Probably going to want to upgrade my crossbow soon enough, after all. But yes, what was I saying here? Yeah, there are some things you can do, but there's Sort of like the opposite of Telluric Shock, if you think about it. Sure, why not? Yeah, there are some things you can use to manipulate it, but for the most part, I mean, Dead Cells is your standard type of action game. You're not looking to make any sort of specific types of builds over the course of the game. I mean, you can try to make that happen, but it is going to be largely dependent on whatever you happen to find over the course of your run. If something is better or worse than what you're already using, and if it mostly fits into your stat type, build type. I mean, it is ultimately an action RPG. It is a game that skill is the final determining factor in a lot of how stuff goes. Which is why it's a wonder that I've had this series go on as long as it has. Lot of stuff to talk about still. I mean, hey, it's the huge variety of weapons. Anyway, let's just get back there then. That's embarrassing. Okay, and that should take care of the curse now. Also, hey, this is an interesting run to come back on. One of the few times that I've actually managed to get two of the same item at once. Still possible if you can get a legendary version of it. And also, they're both colorless. I guess this... Okay, I'm going to be real with you. This might turn out to be the throwing knives and heavy crossbow episode at this rate, since I just happened to manage to find two of the things at once. I mean, what are even the chances of that? Also, yes, I do have an invisibility necklace, unfortunately. I'll be getting rid of it as soon as possible. I just needed the stats because, for whatever reason, necklaces have been coming rare in this run so far. It's not going to be something they'll exploit a whole lot. Let's just say that. I know. Also, I suppose I should mention that, hey, if I'm going to be doing the throwing knives, that is dropped from the bats. I mean, I told you that they carried around knives with them. You didn't believe me. But it definitely is a thing. There was one thing that I wanted to go see at the shop first. Oh yeah, and the heavy crossbow is dropped from the concierge. It's actually probably the first boss weapon that you're going to see in the entire game, just because, well, I think it gets dropped before anything else, and that's the first boss you gotta fight. It's only fitting that we're taking it right back to him, right? Right? That's kind of a... Almost? No, it's not really a thing at all? Well, fine. Fair enough. Okay. Rampart combined with double throwing knives. I do really like this. And if I had any more money, I would probably try to re-roll the colorless version of my knife dance to be able to get bleed plus poison on it, because I think that would work even nicer for me. Either way, the third mutation that I took this time was 2 times ammo, just because I know that, hey, if it wasn't really working out too well before with some of the ammo management, at least against some of the elites that I was going up against, it's certainly not going to work out well against any kind of a boss. Yep. I mean, it's alright. I wouldn't really say this is anything super impressive as of just yet. Could also just be that all I need is the some form of poison to really get things popping off, but it's not really the easiest thing to just get. Easier to say than do, I guess would be the way to put it. Also, if I wasn't blessed by the colorless weapon gods and didn't get to 2 times. Why do I keep saying damage? 2 times throwing knives here, or knife storm, whatever the actual name of this thing is. Probably would have been worth taking a wolf trap too. Make sure enemies can't turn around towards you. Lock them in place just in general is a pretty useful type of thing. But since I did manage to get this unicorn of a combination of items, I don't really see why I shouldn't use it. Come on, you would agree, right? This is certainly an unusual type of thing, considering that the only way you could otherwise do this is with one of the weakest type of build possible, the tactics. I don't know. It's an interesting time in the game right now, so let's just continue going with whatever's happening. I mean, I'm perfectly okay with what's happening here. All right, let's get here. I got another chance at maybe getting some sort of magical... nah. Death Orb is already something that scales with survival. I don't really need that anymore. Now, the question here is... No, not yet. I really like bleed propagation, and what I want to do is I want to try to... Oh man, I need another version of the heavy crossbow like ASAP. I want to keep bleed propagation for right now while I'm going through regular levels. I want to see if I can switch that out for a little bit of bleed as well as poison later on. I mean, its lower reroll costs and legendary items always have a special affix on them. Specifically, the two affixes that you can get with bleed, some of the best in the game, are very nice. Huh. Well, no, I'm not. Look. I want to keep this sort of combination that I got going on right now. I like it too much. But yeah, bleed as well as poison, as well as bleed as propagation. Enemies that are nearby also start bleeding as soon as an enemy dies. And I want to keep that for right now. Oh, well, in the meantime, all I got to do is make sure that I'm not going to be sniped by something from... Okay, there we go. Sniped by something from off-screen. I mean, that's... Hey, you know, especially when you're using survival, you gotta be pretty careful with... Okay, I might as well. Gotta be very careful. Any sort of dude is gonna come... It's gonna come straight out of nowhere. Whoa. And that is a very scary thing when you're working with a survival weapon and can't really respond to things very quickly sometimes. For example, this dude. Yeah. That's what I thought. I'm also willing to blast everybody with knives if the time comes, and it does. The time has come right now, and so have I. Okay, let's not fight the elite. That's, it's a little bit too frightening of a proposition for me right now, but if I just do... No, I can't get down. I should be fine. Just pay attention. Just gotta pay attention. And this is the point in time where I would die in the run, you know, for the poetic irony, but I'm gonna try as hard as possible to not make that happen. Probably didn't need to do that, but I did it anyway. Anybody else? If they want to teleport to me, they're perfectly welcome to right now. I won't stop you. In fact, I'd highly encourage it. I'm so scared right now. You're really freaking me out here, game. But hey, what sort of Dead Cells run is not stressful in some way or another? Very few of them. Well, especially on high cell difficulty when you're going to be taking all the cursed chests that you possibly can. It's not really... Wasn't... Okay. I wasn't really planning to go to the Slumbering Sanctuary. It just felt like, hey, I got the type of run that could easily handle this. I mean, usually stuff like... I'm going to be very worried about the going up against some of the very difficult enemies around here, but if I can just blast them with knives, what does it matter? I'd tell you that I should be perfectly fine. I'm going to wait until my knife storm comes back up. Actually, no, I'm not going to wait until my knife storm comes back up. Okay, now I'm going to wait until the knife storm comes back up. I was kind of hoping they were going to teleport there a little bit faster. This just, prudence is the better form of valor, however that phrase goes. Will you guys just teleport here already? Anybody else want to teleport? I hate this. I hate how cowardly I have to be. But that's the game right now. Okay. And, yeah, you just make this real quick. Like this. Yeah. And then we do this. And then, yeah, we're back into, you know, good time Charlie mode. Damage you take inflicted by enemies? No, I think I want to keep what I got right now. Oh my, there's the poison. I really like this build, though. I like this build too much. Look, I also have a pretty clear path to getting poison right now. I was talking about it before, just gonna re-roll that legendary knife storm to get bleed as well as poison. It shouldn't take too much money to do that. Because like I said, yeah, you can parry those, by the way, if you didn't know. It doesn't really come up too much. I just felt like doing it to style on them. Like I said, if you can't do things with style, then why even bother doing them in the first place? Okay, yeah. That's gonna be the plan. Legendary items have lowered reroll costs, and you always get a special affix, and the special affix should just be between one of the two. I mean, if here. Now this is more of a, well, that's fine. I mean, to be fair, I kind of deserve that for my hubris. I'm not going to begrudge the game for what it did to me. Had to do it to him. Now here's a question. Would it actually be worth going for the cavern at this point in time? Probably not, but I mean, I think the arrow management is going to be a little bit too frustrating to deal with in a lot of ways if I go and do that. As much as this weapon probably could do quite a number on the giant man, I don't think it's worth it. Yeah, ammo is just too. That is a fight that will eat through your ammo supply very quickly. Although knives, if I'm working double knife storm, if I got the synergies going on, would it work anyway? Is it worth it? I mean, you know, I'm debating with myself here, as I'm sure you can tell. I don't know, because it's like it's gonna be a hard time going up against the Timekeeper too. She's a fast enemy, and this is a slow weapon. But the knife storm, I'm gonna try it. I'm going to try it, because knife dance is just, it's something that could make it happen. Thank you for giving me an upgrade, finally. No longer working with the OG version of this weapon. I have so many things unlocked in most of these runs that's not always a possibility to happen to get that. Trail of Flames, 40% extra damage, not bad. Oh, would it be worth it? I think I'd rather have 100% on poison. Yeah. No, everything that I'm saying right now, yeah. If I can... Oh, there's a second curse chest in here? I didn't know there was going to be a second curse chest. No. Well, then. Yeah. Not a relevant item right now. 25. Are there usually 2 curse chests in this area? Because if there are, that's news to me. Just, as always, keep your head on a swivel. Keep your head on a swivel. And then just, you know, really... Yeah, I'm not even going to worry about fighting a golem right now. Mostly what I'm looking out for is any... Are you kidding me? None of those connected? Okay. Mostly looking out for these demon guys. Because, yeah, here they come. And there's a perfect usage of that. Okay. And we're good. Punch me. So I can do this and this. Perfect. Yeah, I do think that I could probably get... I mean, one of the great things is that I do have one of the best shields I can possibly get in the game. And that can likely go a long way in the future. But I could also just go to the clock tower. You know what? It's been quite a while since I've gone to the clock tower. Instead of worrying about going and fighting the giant, let's just say clock tower time. Make this a little bit off the beaten path, even though I didn't do that at the very start. I think this is a good alternative. Okay. I'll see what's in the shop, though, first. Who knows? Maybe it's something that I'll really want. I also won't have to worry about grabbing any more extra chests. What do I even want here, really? Nah. Also won't have to worry about grabbing any extra curse chests if I happen to go through the clock tower, so that's fine by me as well. Maybe even finer than to be in Carolina to go in here. Was that even? I don't know. I just said it for some reason. I think at this point in time I am gonna go to Clandestine Forge, see if I can't roll them bones. 15% extra damage is not that useful. Pierce all enemies, come on. And bleed propagation again. Okay, so I guess there are more than just the 2 affixes that I can get. The 15% extra damage I don't think even works on the bleed. It just works on the initial hit that you get from the knives, which they do their own amount of damage. It's just not much. Could also try re-rolling the colorless version of it too. I mean, I should get enough money. Come on, jump that proper. I should get enough money going through this that it won't be that big of a deal. I think. We'll see. As always, I'm getting hit by balls and chains. Always. Always. That you can't get away from that. That's just... birds gotta fly. Fish gotta swim. I gotta just get clipped by balls and chain over and over. Always. Well, anyway. And, you know, I'm kind of, like, still unsure about what I think of this weapon, but hey, there's something to be said about what is essentially a shotgun in a game. Those are always pretty fun weapons to use, and you do get to just straight up blast away enemies with this, even as it seems into pretty late game. And that's great. That's a good feeling. You know, it's despite the fact that you got to be in very short range, it's still good. It's got a good, whatever like a mouth feel for a video game is. That made no sense at all. You know what? I'd like to have the last thing I said stricken from the record. Okay. Okay. And okay. Yeah. Oh, also very nice. That's a lot of extra stats. You know, I'm gonna be honest though. How many first-person shooters have I actually played in my life where I can really compare what a shotgun feels like to anything with any sort of authority? I played the original Half-Life and most of Half-Life 2, and like Metal Gear. Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear the original, but you know, it's not really the most impressive type of thing. I gotta get into more first-person shooters at some point in time. That is always a big blind spot when it comes to playing video games for me. There's a lot of them out there, and certainly they've enjoyed a lot of popularity over the years, but me, I got no excuse. It's just, I haven't really played a whole lot of them. Yeah, you know, Doom Eternal's coming out soon. Or came out? I actually don't know. I have not been keeping up with it. So I really maybe that would be a thing to go check out. But at the same time, it's like, that's kind of supposed to be more of a hardcore type of first-person shooter, or at least like, you know, very fast-paced action. Not something that would be beginner-friendly. So I don't know if that would be the best idea, really. Yoink! Do need that malaise relief right now. Oh boy, oh boy. Even though I can't get any actual healing from it. Not that it matters. I mean, that's why I got necromancy after all. It's just, I don't know, maybe I'll just go look at playing the original Doom. Make that the next series that I'm doing on the channel. Well, as soon as Crosscode's done, go vote on it. You want to see me play Doom 2016? You want to see me play Doom 1991? It was 91, right? Or you want to see me play Hades? I don't know. It can be anything. What it is right now, though, is Crosscode. That's a great game. If you haven't checked it out, I would highly recommend it. If you haven't checked out the series, again, good luck. Every episode is like nearly 2 hours long. I'm still having a lot of fun with it. Okay. Yeah, bleed propagation. You can see exactly why bleed propagation is so good right there. Those enemies were almost entirely wholesale taken out just from a couple enemies' deaths there. It's pretty nice. Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go over there for the extra stats. It's not gonna be useful in boss fights. And that's always what I'm thinking about. That's always what I'm building for. That's always what I want to. More than anything else, that's the important bit to me, making sure that boss fights are going to go well. And I do think that this is more or less a weapon that should do well with boss fights. I mean, this is more or less a build that should do great with boss fights and regular enemies, because, well, Knife Dance is a very powerful... Oh god, here it comes. I saw it happening, and I was already shooting off the arrow. Couldn't do anything about it. Well, anyway. Yeah, it's like double knife dance is great. If you can manage it. This is sort of a unique circumstance that I found myself in where it's even possible without, you know, actually selecting that as an option in the custom menu. But, you know, that does disable achievements and everything, and I feel like a good rule of thumb for me is anything that disables achievements is something that I'm going to at least make a token effort to... There's two of you here. At least a token effort to try to avoid when doing these showcase runs. I mean, obviously, I've broken that rule plenty of times when it comes to, you know, starting out with skill weapons or happening to take a, you know, getting rid of enough weapons for, like, the Spite Sword run that I did. It's not impossible, but I want to keep it as vanilla as I can while also being able to show off a singular weapon. All right. 77,000. Come on, Minor Forge. Come on, Minor Forge. Come on, Minor Forge. You're killing me, Minor Forge. Oh, well, that's fine. I'm doing just fine even without that. Certainly getting maybe instead of 100% on poison, 60% on bleed would have been a better choice for the heavy crossbow I'm using right now, but you understand my position. All right, let's go. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm going to make sure that I use my... Oh, I didn't get the parry there in the way I wanted to. I was going to say use my shield as well as I can, but it doesn't really matter. Didn't even get her into the final phase. That's a rarity. I think I'm finally hitting that point where I am overcoming boss damage caps, which is pretty great if I do say so myself. And as you heard, I just did. 33. Yeah, the stats are working in my favor. Unfortunately, the malaise is not. This is why I like taking the heart pretty often, but I really want that third slot for double ammo. That's the more important bit. I'm gonna just do something, because I'm always gonna get 2 points of survival from that, so I'm not worried about accidentally, you know, rolling into getting bad stats. It's there's a lot of interesting things going on here, and I don't really know if I can express all of them in words. Only through attacking the king statue, as I always do, for idiosyncratic reasons, I guess. Okay, bleeding, please. Yeah, I'll get some more. I mean, it has pierce, it has extra damage, can't be interrupted. Grenade's also nice for a little bit of a starting attack in case this is going to be bad. In case, okay, handled it well though. You know, like a little bit of a starting attack to make sure that I can take down minor enemies. Not that really matters at this point in the game. Maybe I can knock demons out of the sky. That's kind of the only thing that I'm hoping for. I just don't have as many stats. I'm doing fine for stats though. Stats are not the issue here. You worry about the stats and the build will take care of itself. That's almost a phrase. It's just nonsense. What am I even saying? Oh, well, one of the nice things about having the close ranged weapon is that you don't have to worry about thorns at all. And that is actually pretty helpful when you're working with survival. It's not, you know, silver linings and all that, even though it's not like I'm really reaching for good stuff to talk about. Clearly this weapon is pretty great. It took a little bit to get there. It wasn't amazing right out of the gate, but I think at this point in time, the heavy crossbow has really proven itself. Yeah. So yeah, I think that like Final Judgments right now takes a little bit to get going. Takes a little bit of gas, takes a little bit of, you know, prep work, But overall, like this, did you see how that timekeeper fight went? That's a rarity. Hey. That's a rarity when it comes to survival runs, I'll say that, to get a run going that good against her. What you got? Nothing of interest. I'll be taking what I got right now. If I manage to do a very good Hand of the King fight, I might even be able to not have to worry too much about using a potion charge purely for Malaise Cure. Because Necromancy will have my back on that. That's kind of what I'm hoping, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Never want to count those chickens before they've hatched. Even though I do want to say that we are definitely going to be getting some chickens. I feel good about this run. There you are. I feel good about how this run is going right now. And it's not just a quality main weapon, you know, the whole showcase thing in the first place, although in all likelihood this is going to be a dual showcase. I'm going to have to call it that. I mean, you'll already know. Okay. Yeah. No, this is looking great. Stalling your own attacks. You're not supposed to be survival-based, guys. All right, I am going to have to, like... Yeah? Okay. I think I am going to have to take the potion charge here. This is not... Oh, come on. Especially with this sort of thing happening. Bye. Better safe than sorry and all that. And 3 potion charges is still quite a fine amount. I would not be disappointed to end a run with 3 potion charges. I mean, I would not be disappointed to end a run with any amount of potion charges, including 0. Ending a run is its own reward. But you know what I'm saying here. All right, just need the... small... Hey, okay, cool. Clearly changing the croissants is paying out because the food has been great. Okay, what was I even saying now? I don't know. I should win the game. I hope I win the game, and I'm gonna try to really win the game. All right, cool. There, that's all that needs to be said. All right. Oh, by the way, using the red outfit from Mama Tick this time. It's, okay. I think I prefer the black one. I think I prefer the original one. Probably going to be using the green outfit next time, seeing what's happening with that. And then back to random every single time I'm playing. Because I just wanted to show off the new stuff for right now. Why not? Got to get that new hotness in there while we're still riding that wave of that good DLC feeling. And take you. Got one more fragment to go, and still don't have the Explorer's Rune just yet, but that shouldn't be more than a quick jaunt around here before that starts proccing. Can't imagine it's gonna be too much longer, because I've certainly spent enough time in the castle right now, and I do respect you, the viewers' time here to not be dawdling around if I don't absolutely need to, or if I don't think I can't get something more out of it. I mean, you already pay me enough with you're not really paying for this video, but I want you to get the most money out of it anyway. You're paying me with your eyeballs, basically. With the watch minutes. Which, after I get them from YouTube in the mail, they send me a box of them every month. I put them into my time well for future and past chronomancy experience. How is that going? Terribly. As it turns out, I'm actually very bad at time management. Oh, and also, by the way, don't go near the time well. If you touch it, you will instantly die of starvation. I mean, not to mention all the Hounds of Tonaldos that are trying to get... Okay, this bit is dumb. Let's just get out of here already. I have everything that I need. I can leave. 3 keys. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to get the final little bit to get the last scroll fragment, but that's fine. I'm sure there will be one appearing in the 5-cell area. It's just still frustrating that I don't have the I didn't get the proc from the Explorer's Room. Oh, finally, there we go. Yeah, I probably do want to go back for extra stats. As much as I can't switch out the build right now. The Knife Dance has been too good to me to leave by the wayside. But yeah, I should go get that last little bit of extra health and, you know, leave it at that. Transistor sword. All right. Still got Transistor. I was still doing the stream roulette thing that I was doing for a week there. Would have eventually got to that, but a dead cell's to do. There we are, and yeah, I don't even care about the hook. Just care about you. All right, let's go. Like I said, it's been far too long in this area already. I'm getting sick of the castle. I'm getting ready to at least end the non-bonus part of this run by beating up the Hand of the King. And I think that I am very much in a position where that's going to happen. I would have to screw something up something fierce for things to not work out in my favor at this point in time. And again, this sounds like I'm going to set up some screwing up something fierce, but I'm really going to try to avoid doing that. All right. Whatever. Let's just... Fierce. No. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Get the 2 points of survival, get bleed, extra damage on bleed. That's fine with me. And now this should be some great regular enemy stuff with the bleed propagation in the next area, even though I couldn't get the bleed and poison at the same time. I mean, hey, that's fine. That's fine. I'll survive. Oh my god, look at it go! He is... Not gonna be a perfect fight, but I'm just... But why is... He's like broken! It must be the... You know what must have been happening there? Alright, and... let's just do this. I don't wanna... Okay, it must have been the, I'll say after the fight because I'm a little distracted right now. Nope. Okay, yeah, it must have been the pulling. The gravity well thing must have, like, broken his AI and kept canceling out his attacks. Because that's the only thing I can think of. Well, unfortunately, didn't get a perfect fight there. Got very, very close, but yeah. Tried to go for a parry when he was doing the dash. Not my best idea. Oh, well, like I said, I'll survive. That's what survival's all about, after all. Surviving. All right, let's get here. All right, I can see why this has become a go-to weapon for a lot of people. This is like it can break boss AIs. Not only does it have great damage, not only can it overcome boss damage caps and everything, it'll just straight up break enemy AIs. That's great. Wow, I have been sleeping on this weapon for, crap. I've been sleeping on this weapon for too long. Well, I mean, I've always known that, hey, it's a decent weapon. But in the past, I feel like it has not had this much usability. I don't know, maybe... I'm just going to say I was probably the foolish one here for not believing in it. Believing in you who believes in me. Who believes in this great, great heavy crossbow. Now proud to say, he ain't heavy, he's my crossbow. Should not probably have done that, but that's fine. Yeah, I hate it. look, I'm doing just fine as far as... I would... If I can't get more than 3 points... If I can't get at least minimum 3 points of... Oh, God. Okay, no, I managed to hit him. Stupid librarians. If I can't get 3 points minimum of survival from the necklace, I'm not taking it. I'm going to lob that statement out there right now. I could be convinced otherwise, but it would have to take some very convincing to try to convince me otherwise. That was a sentence. And you pay me your time when you watch this. Frankly, I would ask for a refund. Even though, again, you will instantly die if you touch the time level. I hit the wrong button. That was dumb. Oh, great. I hate this a lot. But hey, bleed propagation. I told you, it's great. Okay, I'm gonna have to be like real careful with these slammers here. Something that I haven't really thought about too much, but those guys are immune to stuns. And I'm gonna guess that probably also includes the gravity well thing. And they're faster than me. Maybe save the knives for them. Or just sneak up on them too. That equally, if not more effective in some ways. Ah, dang it. But hey, not dang it. I don't think I'm going to be able to afford this, but does it really matter? I don't think so. If I'm going to go for anything, it's going to be the cough syrup. Make sure that, well, I mean, who knows? Maybe there will be a cursed gem. I'm not going to take a cursed gem. What am I even saying? That would be like downright. That would be like, you know, might as well just reset the run right now sort of decision making on my part. Well, anyway, still missing the alien key. I do have to go get that. If I don't get the alien key, I'm going to have to go back for it, and that's going to be a whole thing. I would much rather just take the time to go find it right now. Not fret too much in the future. Oh my god. You know, the whole knives thing were supposed to be my big counter for librarians. Boy, that not work out in the way that I wanted it to. Anyway, what's up, my saucy fellow? Not bad stuff at all, but I don't know. I mean, I have 225. It's not a super huge difference. It would probably make a pretty decent difference. Hey, nice. But at the same time, I'm not gonna worry about it. Oh, actually managed to hit me anyway. That's okay. Can't parry those guys, which is really frustrating. But hey, having Rampart and having this entire, you know, quite powerful build with a lot of stats is gonna go a long way when I get to the boss fight. And that's the more important bit anyway. Sure, this might not be great for dealing with the birdos, but that's not what I'm worried about. Birds are of least concern. Unless you're talking about myself. Then my own... I don't even know where I'm going here. Let's just throw knives out. There. Can't say it's ineffective. I do also like that bleed propagation does go through shields. It's not really something that comes up a lot, but hey, it's nice. Hate this so much. Oh my god, it's every... Why are the librarians... I mean, they're terrible on their best days, but they're extra awful here, aren't they? Oh, great, it's the box. It's fine. Dealt with adroitly, if I do say so myself. Not gonna worry about that. Gonna use that to get rid of that. And I should be able to get back down to 0 malaise, which is, you know, kind of, like I said before, what I was hoping for. Even with the knives should have been so good. They hit directly above me and everything, going in all 8 directions. It's just, never doubt my own incompetence. 37 survival with 2 very much not survival based items. I like it. I am a fan of the things that are currently occurring. Should have probably maybe not have gone in there, but, well, it's too late to go back now. Besides, it worked out just fine. Unlike the last run. No, I'm just gonna nip that right in the bud. I do not want to deal with any more librarians and their shenanigans at this point in time. Same goes with you. Same goes for you guys. Perfect. Parfait. Okay. Go back, get that cough syrup. Mosey on out of here. Hey, curse sword up there if I want to also end the run again. Especially because it does not scale with survival, so. Boy, that would be dumb. This is not the right shop. Yeah, oh, okay. Feel pretty good about this one. I want to say that this is, I'm gonna call it right now. I mean, it can easily still go wrong, but I want to say this is gonna be a win. The question, though, the big question on everybody's mind is, what kind of win? Is it gonna be a loot? Is it gonna be a bazooki? Where I'm able to just, you know, full and complete no-hit victory? I think it's possible. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna make a real attempt here. But, you know, as always, you can't promise anything. Nor do I want to promise anything. Ammo, definitely. And what? I mean, extended healing, but I would need to take damage for that to even work. I don't know. Like, something like Instinct would be good, but I have nothing that does criticals. How about Blind Faith? Maybe? I mean, yeah? I don't know. Yeah? Let's just go. By the way, I didn't get that last scroll fragment. I probably should have looked around to see if Explorer's Rune happened to find one extra one. That's, unfortunate. All right, let's go. I'm about as ready for this as I can be. This is a great run. We'll see. Wag! How did I not get hit there? I honestly don't know how I didn't get hit there. That was weird. Anyway. Okay, so he purges everything. There wasn't even any point in doing that. Well, I can at least get a little bit of extra damage here. I can't believe I didn't get hit by that. Well, there's still far more fight left to go. So don't get too comfy right now. Yeah. It was good really cycling through the phases, which I do like. Make sure you don't stand too close to him immediately because he might just do that. Well, so much for that. Oh, well, I gave an attempt. Screw it. I don't even care about this anymore. Here. That's unfortunate. Can't say it's unexpected, though. I screw up a lot of very simple stuff. A lot. Also, I would have definitely gotten hit there, too. Yep. I gotta say. Nice. I gotta say, easy fight. Easy fight, easy life. Well, I mean, this was a special type of build, so I suppose I shouldn't be too quick to judge the weapon based on that, but it did do great damage, even despite that. If all I was doing was just using the a more traditional type of build, I think that would have been fine. Yeah, no, but hey, we'll make this the throwing knives, or the knife dance too. I already did a throwing knives episode. It's an interesting run. I think that, yeah. I mean, my high hopes have been fulfilled. And yes, I'm not cutting the video out right now because there was also one thing that I wanted to show off that I noticed when I was starting up this particular episode. Now that's right, there's a little bonus for everybody that happened to stick through to the very end. I did not notice this before, but apparently if you go all the way to the right side and climb up the wall, got this picture of a bunch of Guians. As I'm sure it's a reference to something, but yeah,